All right, let's get you caught up on the biggest science stories from the last 24 hours. Okay, let's dive right in. We're kicking things off with a massive discovery in paleontology. I mean, this is something that's giving us a whole new window into a world that's millions of years old. Get this, scientists have just pulled back the curtain on what they're calling the Hua'nan Biota. It's this enormous new fossil site in China, and it dates back, wait for it, 512 million years. We're talking deep, deep into the Cambrian period.
And this is where it gets really incredible. The sheer scale of this find is just wow. The site plugs a huge hole in the fossil record, showing us exactly how life bounced back after a massive extinction event. And the fossils themselves, the preservation is absolutely stunning. We're not just talking about shells here, we're talking about soft tissues, like guts, nerves, even gills, all preserved in jaw-dropping detail. It's leading scientists to think that these deep water spots might have been like lifeboats, these crucial refuges where life could hide out and start to diversify again after a global catastrophe.
Okay, so let's jump forward about 500 million years right to the cutting edge of tech today. First up, in the world of quantum computing, researchers have just knocked down a huge barrier, noise. You know, that random interference that messes up calculations. Well, they've built a new amplifier that quiets that noise down to almost the absolute physical limit. This is a massive step towards scaling up quantum computers. And speaking of power, we've got a doubleheader in battery news. First, scientists at Oxford think they've found a hidden component in our regular lithium-ion batteries that could lead to way, way faster charging. And at the same time, another team has unveiled a really promising calcium-ion battery. This could be a game changer, offering a safer and more sustainable alternative to lithium. Hey, and if you're enjoying these quick science updates, do me a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. It really helps. Okay, now let's turn to the world of medicine, because we have results from 2 major stroke trials, and they tell 2 very different but equally important stories. So, on the one hand, we've got a huge win. A trial for a drug called asundexian showed it cut the risk of a second stroke by 26%. And the really brilliant part is how it does it. It targets a specific protein that causes clots, but doesn't interfere with the body's ability to stop bleeding normally. That means it works without that dangerous side effect of major bleeding, which is a huge deal. But on the flip side, another trial really highlights just how complex treating strokes can be. A different drug successfully slowed bleeding in the brain for hemorrhagic stroke patients. But sadly, it didn't actually improve their long-term survival or recovery. It's a tough reminder of the challenges that are still out there. Also, in medical news, there's some seriously hopeful progress on what's being called a functional cure for type 1 diabetes. A company has just gotten the FDA's breakthrough designation for a fully implantable insulin pump. Now, the whole idea here is to create a system that just works. It delivers insulin right where it needs to go, mimicking what the body does naturally. The ultimate goal? To completely remove the constant burden on the patient. No more constant monitoring, no more counting everything. It's a really significant step towards fundamentally changing how people live with this condition. All right, let's do a quick-fire round of updates from across the planet and inside our own bodies. First up, some potentially big news on the climate front. A new analysis suggests China's CO2 emissions might have actually peaked last year, mostly thanks to a huge surge in clean energy. Meanwhile, way down in Antarctica, scientists have pulled up a record-breaking sediment core. This thing is like a time capsule that'll help us figure out the exact tipping point for the West Antarctic ice sheet. Zooming way in, researchers found out our genome isn't just a static blueprint, it's constantly moving or dancing to reinforce what each cell is supposed to be. And finally, in a clever bit of biohacking, a team used a yeast enzyme to let human cells make DNA without their mitochondria, which opens up all sorts of new avenues for disease research. And for our last story, we're getting a little meta, looking at the science of, well, science itself. A new study is digging into something called the AI productivity paradox. So think about it like this. On one hand, AI tools are making individual scientists super fast. But the paradox is that this might be creating a tidal wave of information, a flood of new studies that's making it harder for the entire scientific community to actually sort through it all and find the real breakthroughs. It's an interesting problem, right? More information isn't always better information. And that wraps up our science news for today. We'll be back with another update in 24 hours.